Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of The Real Deal. There was a couple of you guys that were on there letting me know that my sound wasn't working. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to go ahead and re-record this because I think it's a great subject. So we're talking about something that's called escrow holdbacks. Now, this term isn't really common, obviously, if you're not in the real estate world, but surprisingly, it's not that common to other realtors either, which is kind of strange. So I'll give you guys an example of why this came up recently and a way this can benefit you if you guys are thinking about buying a house that's maybe been on the market for a long time, that might need some repairs down the road. So I have some clients that are looking in the area that's pretty competitive, even at the higher price points. The houses that are move-in ready condition, they just go off the market really quick. Even during the holiday season, houses come on the market and they just sell. And that's common in certain areas. Certain areas are just going to be a little bit more competitive, regardless of the price point. Obviously, if we're in the lower price points, move-in ready home, those are just going to fly off the shelf. So we made an offer on this house, my clients and I, this great family of four that I met. And unfortunately, we weren't able to win the offer. It doesn't happen too often, but when it does, obviously it sucks. So we started looking at different options. We started being a little bit more creative with how we can approach and get the house that they want in the area that they want. We found a pretty cool house, exact same floor plan, same, even has a pool. It just needs a little bit of work. It needs some carpet, it needs some paint, and needs a little bit of landscaping work. So traditionally, most of the time when I'm shopping with clients, they want something that's move-in ready. They don't want to worry about repairs when they move into the house, which is totally understandable. That's how I shot for my house too. I want to just put my furniture in there and move in. So we started looking at this house as an option, just knowing how competitive it is in this particular area. And the house is priced accordingly. It's priced about $20,000 below what a move-in ready condition house of the similar type style of home would be. So now we're in the process of making an offer, but before I make this offer to this client, I want to talk to this listing agent. I want to talk to this listing agent and ask them if this is something that their sellers would consider. Considering the house has been on the market for a couple months and they just recently took a price drop, this thing escrow holdback came up, and I'll explain what that is. Basically, what an escrow holdback is it's a way for a seller to pay a contractor for work that's going to be done on the house or that has been done on the house. And that gets paid at closing, right? So this is basically between a seller and a contractor. The benefit that I have when I'm representing a buyer is we get to choose a contractor that goes out there and gets the quotes, and then the seller cuts them a check at closing. They get paid. They go and do the work. Now, obviously, it's important to have a trustworthy contractor that's not going to take your money and run. So obviously, you want to go with somebody that you trust, preferably somebody that I refer. But of course, if you have somebody that's in the industry, by all means. So I'm in the process of making this offer to this seller, and I talked to the agent, and I was surprised on how little she knew about the process. I was having to start kind of walk her through the process and let her know how we should approach it. I've done these before in situations where I represented the buyer or the seller. It's come up a couple of times in my real estate career. And finally, I think we came to an agreement. I think we're going to be able to get it under contract, and we're going to be able to get a decent amount for some repairs to get paid at closing because we're asking for quite a bit. We're asking for about $10,000 in repairs, which for this purchase price that we're in is a pretty reasonable amount, considering, the purchase price that we're at. But I was just surprised on how little she knew about that process, and that's not always the case. Like this isn't an isolated event. When I've brought this up to agents in the past, a lot of times they just don't know what it is, and because they don't know what it is, they kind of shy away from it. They're scared to make this a part of the deal, which is strange to me because this is a very common thing. Especially when you're dealing with flips and that kind of stuff. Anyways, so I think we're going to get the offer accepted. But the way I can tell you this could benefit you, if you're looking for something in the market that's distressed, right? If you're looking for something that's been on the market, 2-3 months, especially something during the holiday season, because a lot of times when houses go on the market, if they're priced too aggressively during the holiday season, they're going to sit on the market longer than they should, right? So then if they've been on the market 2-3 months and we're coming into that buying season, these sellers, they might be getting ready to either take the house off the market or start slashing the price. Well, as opposed to having them slash the price, an approach or a strategy that you can use is we can try to get the seller to pay for some updates that you might want. Maybe you want some new carpet. Maybe you want some fresh paint. Maybe you want that pool resurfaced, which is one of the things that we're asking for on this upcoming house. So this is a pretty cool This is a pretty cool strategy that I've used before to help my clients avoid any additional out-of-pocket expenses when they move into the house. Obviously, it's on a case-by-case basis. A brand new house that just hit the market, this isn't going to work out because they're going to try to wait for an offer. But something that's been on the market for some time that needs a little bit of work, that the seller's struggling to sell, it wouldn't be a bad idea to consider that and use some of this money that the seller can give your contractor, not you, because as a buyer you cannot receive any money from a seller, but the seller can pay a contractor at closing, and there really is no limit to what that dollar amount can be. At the end of the day, this is between the seller and the contractor. All right, guys. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of a 411. It kind of gives you guys an idea of the kind of agent that I am. I always try to find the best way to help my clients out, try to be creative any way I possibly can, try to get the deal closed and get them into a home. If you guys are in the process of looking for a house, regardless if it's a distressed home, move-in ready home, regardless of what it is, if that's part of your 2020 goals, let me know. We'll schedule a time to meet, and we'll get you guys into a home this year. All right, guys. Thank you much, and have a great rest of your Wednesday. Take care.